We're going to talk here about the Middle East foreign policy. I've been skirting it a bit, been fooling around with the elections. We'll be coming back with that because elections are so much fun. But this Middle East thing's getting pretty crazy, and we just think that we have to at least put out there what we see. Not there's some opinion, of course, but where we think it's going right now, because the President Obama is going to be president for another year and a half, so things really aren't going to change. As anyone who's followed us knows, since well before the 2012 election, we were talking about the Middle East being the black swan. That's where it is. That's where the problems are. It's just going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. It's been there for thousands of years. It doesn't go away that easily. We don't deal with it correctly, and we obviously haven't, because it doesn't seem to go away. It gets quiet. It gets tamped down for a while, but it's just it's just the basic. It's like tribal almost, as vicious as it is over there. And in this, we have to watch out for ourselves. The president, we believe, made a big mistake not backing the pro-democracy forces in Syria. They could have brought down Assad. Assad is a tyrant, but people liked him. His wife's good looking. He acted like he was Western. I believe he came here and learned how to be a dentist or something. And I'm sure his guys know how to extract teeth in his prisons. And all that happened is that Syria is just no longer Syria, just like Iraq is no longer Iraq, because we did nothing. The vacuum that we left, which has been my biggest complaint, my biggest concern, and we're not talking, we've been consistent, not talking about troops, not talking about sending in the armed forces. Haven't talked about that at all, been incredibly consistent about that over the years. But we have to support our friends, because our friends will take care of it. But if our friends don't feel supported, they're going to be afraid to move forward, and that's exactly what has happened. So now what is going on is you have Russia coming in, and we've made it clear we think this is definitely going to be a problem for Russia down the road. But they're coming in now, and the only reason they're coming in is because we've left a vacuum, which has now allowed them and Iran and Iraq to come together to be able to start making some decisions in what they call Syria, what they call Iraq, to come together to make some decisions on what they want to do. It's becoming a new Cold War because there's going to be, Cleo there, because it's going to be, it's so tribal, people are going to be standing together. That's why we didn't think the nuclear arms deal was that important, because there's nuclear arms everywhere. The North Koreans have them. Anything can happen. That's a rogue nation. So what if Iran probably is probably moving forward with it anyhow, but letting them have their money, letting them be able to go forward, letting them be able to make these kinds of deals, this is what we made a big mistake on. And then we draw a line on Assad and say, you're out, and of course Assad steps over it. So we look like goose. You can't make threats if you're not going to back them up. You can't make promises if you're not going to stand by them. And that's what this president has done. Everything is back off, back off, back off, back off. You better not, you better not, you better not, back off, back off. That's kind of what the president's done on most of this stuff. He got Obamacare through, didn't take care of it. Look at this going on with the Secret Service now, going after this congressman, putting out information that he has privacy rights on. I mean, it's just all of it, just so many different, the VA, totally. It's just horrible. And we love the president. We agree with what he's talking about with guns, and we'll talk about that in a further video. But right now, there's not much we can do, because the president's not going to take any action, because the president's only action in his mind are troops. And he keeps believing that the only way the rest of the world's going to follow us is if we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. And then the good guys will watch, those neutrals will see us and come with us. It doesn't work that way. People go with the strong. That's the way it is. And if the strongs are equal, then it's an idea of then it's competing ideas. Then it's competing ideologies. But it isn't right now. Right now you have the strong and you got the weak. The Middle East only understands strength. So what we really should be doing is, I think it's something the president could possibly go along with, though it's even still too much for him, it's we got to stay out of Syria. I mean, it's too late to do safety zones for the refugees. They're just all going to get pushed out. You sure don't see Russia taking any of them in. But we should be saying to our friends, understand we're there for you. Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabians, UAE, Turkey, Kuwait. We should be making it clear to our friends that there's no more jiving. What's going on is going on, but we're there for them. And that's all part of what's going to be leading, and we've been so consistent again with this, it's like almost sad. It's going to be leading to this big defense buildup as things start coming down the pike over the next couple of years, because that's the only way we're going to be able to maintain any respect in the world. It's so sad the world's that way, but it is. President won't accept it. We're going to have to be accepting it soon. But it'll help the economy in the long run, and it always works out here because we just have the greatest country. It'll work out because we argue, we disagree, but we'll come up with a solution. We'll come up with a new president who'll have to deal with it. It's going to be dropped in his or her lap. Going to be so interesting. Isn't politics great? Peace.